Welcome to 17 Strong. Victories don't come by accident. Here's your host, Steve Teixeira.
Thanks, Andy. Welcome to another 17 Strong podcast. I'm your host, Steve Teixeira, along with my beautiful wife, Holly. Hi, babe.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. Well, we have some special guests in studio with us, don't we?
I think so, yeah.
So we have, not all of them, because Lord knows they all wouldn't fit in this little room.
That's right.
But we have the representatives of FORT, Friends of Ryan Teixeira. And just so our listeners know a little bit about FORT, is 17 Strong has very specific bylaws. We can only do victory trips because that's the way we were set up with the IRS, and that's what Ryan wanted.
Yep.
But Ryan had so many passions in life that his friends decided to start FORT, Friends of Ryan Teixeira, and create another nonprofit so that they could continue Ryan's legacy with other things that Ryan liked to do.
That's correct. And we thought that this was a perfect month to do this because we're celebrating Ryan's 23rd birthday on October 13th. So what better way to do that than invite his friends and talk about him a little bit? So do we want to introduce ourselves? Let's see who we have here. So
hey, this is Tyler Auerbach. Excited to be here.
We can do this.
My name is Grant.
My name is Ben Chamberlain.
And Ben, where are you from?
I am from Colorado.
You are. You're one of Ryan's college teammates from Colorado. So nice to have you.
And I'm Nash.
Yes, the one and only Nash, of course.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's start with Tyler.
Okay.
Tyler is the president of Friends of Ryan Teixeira. Yeah.
It's pretty
Big
good.
title.
Big title.
And Tyler, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your friend group and just a little history of all Ryan's friends.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been living in Arroyo Grande for, 12 years or so. Met Ryan on the baseball field when I was about 8 years old. Played baseball against him. Didn't really know too much about him until one day my dad actually told me that he was going to be joining our travel baseball team, which we were pretty excited about. We had a really, really awesome group growing up with, and our friend group kind of blossomed into this really, really close, tight-knit group that I've never experienced really anywhere else, amongst anyone else. We throughout the years, we just kind of stuck together through everything, no matter what it is, no matter what we were doing. We were always together. Every weekend, it was always, we had something planned and we were going to be hanging out, but we didn't know exactly what it was going to be yet.
It didn't matter, did it, Ty?
It really didn't matter. I mean, we were going to be together at some point during the weekend. We knew that was going to happen. But it almost seemed like every weekend we were kind of trying to figure out, okay, whose house is it at this time?
Yeah, for sure. I can totally relate to that. It was at our house quite a bit.
Spent a lot of time out here.
Absolutely. I do remember just off the cuff that I think it was you and Grant and Ryan that were doing I think you were pulling weeds for Papa. And I think there was a total photo shoot going on. Could you tell us a little bit about that, Grant? What about that? How did that work out exactly?
Well, yeah, we kind of got roped into maybe pulling some weeds.
Yes.
And it was a nice day out, so we decided to get a tan in, and
Absolutely.
take our shirts off and stuff. But we needed to cover our heads, so we all wore hats.
Cowboy hats.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I think somebody had a sombrero.
Yeah. So
Okay, I was just checking.
Grant was the one guy with the sombrero.
Of course.
yeah. So Tyler and Ryan both got cowboy hats, and I got stuck wearing a sombrero because I'm part Mexican.
All right.
And we all thought it would be pretty funny, and maybe took a little bit of a photo shoot in front of the trailer. And
Right. And you were rolling up your shorts so it looked like you had nothing on. Right. Let's be honest. And I think Aaron was the photographer.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's not be shy. So so they were literally putting the hat over their private so that nobody could see that. But and rolling up the pants so there was nothing. It was quite hysterical. Oh, yeah. Those pictures should be showing up maybe for blackmail when you guys get married or something. I don't know.
No.
No.
Kind of forgot about those pictures.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Exactly.
That's the best part.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I can dig them up somewhere, maybe.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. I don't know.
You don't know? You don't know?
No, I know where they're at.
I know where they're.
I know exactly where they're
Oh,
at.
great.
But I'm not, yeah.
You're not willing to share. Okay. Well, that's okay. Okay. So tell me about the age group that you guys said you were about 8 when you met Ryan.
Yeah. I think it was 8 or 9. Started playing baseball. Ryan was playing at Beach Cities. And all of a sudden we started playing on this AG Thunder travel ball team.
That's right.
I think we're about 10 years old.
Yep.
Yeah.
10 or 11.
10 or 11, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Around there. My dad was a coach, and I don't know exactly how it went, Steve, but I think my dad ended up talking to you and
Mm-hmm.
getting
Yeah.
Ryan and Chris Wilson on our team.
That was awesome. That was a great team. Yeah. A lot of like team, camaraderie. It was just super good friends. It was awesome. That was neat.
It was an awesome time.
Yeah. And we traveled a lot. We went,
A lot of traveling.
down south, and yeah, it was
There
a
was
good
an
group.
instant bond that you
Mhm.
guys had.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Everybody. I mean, I look back at all the kids on that team, and there's probably only your core group of friends that are still together today.
Mhm.
I mean, you might talk to the other kids, but it's nothing like the handful of you guys that
Yeah.
were.
Yeah.
I mean, you became really lifelong friends out of that.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. Nash, you kind of came into the picture a little bit later, like maybe high school, would you say?
Yeah, it was high school.
Okay. Okay. Also, I want to know what your guys' mission is for Fort, and tell me a little bit about your fundraiser. I think you guys had a fundraiser not very long ago.
So our mission's kind of it's very broad. It's all of basically Ryan's passions, anything that he would like to do. We kind of try to push that legacy on through our nonprofit. So that's basically we cover everything from what he did with Fair to his passions through special needs and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what our goal is. And then what was the second one?
What was your what did you do? What did you do for your fundraiser? Because it was
Oh.
really successful.
Yeah, we threw a baseball tournament. It was 3 age groups. We had was it 10, 11, 12s?
Yeah.
And I think we had about 5 or 6 teams in each bracket, and we hosted it right where all these guys used to play when they were little. I wasn't here around then, but yeah, they had a bunch of history down there, and it was kind of cool just to throw it down there, and it ended up turning out pretty cool. So,
Yeah, it was really successful, and I know that there was a lot of people that can't wait till next year to play in that tournament.
oh yeah, a lot of people liked it, and hopefully we get a bigger turnout next year and we can take on some more teams.
Nash, what was it like for you? Because you met everybody in high school, right?
Yep.
So what was it like for you trying to work your way into this group that was already established?
To be honest, I didn't even know there was a group.
Yeah.
Like it was like a really easy. It was kind of it was randomly Grant.
Yeah.
It was Grant out of all people. I don't know why. Grant and I just clicked for some reason. I finally got to play football with these guys, and we ended up being like really good friends. I was probably at his house during that first summer I met him. Like,
Yeah, he got put on the chore list at my house because he was living there so much.
Well, he's really good at
I
chores.
think I can relate to that one.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
pretty good with chores, so I could get on those lists pretty easily. But yeah, it was kind of wasn't like there was this group established at the time. It was kind of at least to my point of view. I mean,
Right.
now it's definitely very evident that it's a little different than anything I've ever
How
seen.
would you describe it? Like, if you were to describe it, would you describe it like a brotherhood or a? I mean, in your words, what would you say?
I guess you could say it's kind of like a brotherhood, but it's more just like it's very natural. It's not nothing forced. Like it's just I don't know. It's
Hard to
some it's
explain.
it's super hard to explain. It's like
Yeah,
I've never met anybody else that has something like this. So it's
I
really,
agree. It's
Yeah.
hard to put words to for sure. But I would like to ask Ben a question because he's the one from Colorado, and Ryan only was there a short time. So I want to know, how did he impact Colorado Mesa, the baseball field, all that other stuff? Like, tell me a little bit about the Colorado experience.
We were actually talking about this last night. It's crazy Ryan's impact on the people of Colorado. I mean, the school, the people out there. He was there for a short time, like you said, and he still lives on through Mesa baseball. He's he lives on in the hearts of hundreds of people out there, and he was there for not even a full semester. So
No.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a crazy amount of an impact
Yeah,
in a
for
very
sure.
short time.
Yeah,
Very short time.
I agree.
Yeah.
What would you say was one of the highlights of your time with Ryan?
That is difficult.
Mhm.
I mean, like I said, he was there such a short time, and we had so many great memories. The things I really remember is just we did everything together. We went out, we went hunting, we went fishing. You know, grinded it out on the baseball field as much as we could. Uh, it just typical college baseball teammate stuff.
Right.
I mean, and he was just so positive, and we just that's what I remember the most is
Right. And we got to like put this in perspective for just a second. So when you met him for the first time, he was, I mean, already been diagnosed, bald, coming to college, really not being strong. And so you got to see this kid kind of, work to get stronger and do every day was a
every
little
day.
bit better.
Yeah, yeah, and it was crazy the strides he made in that short of a period of time. Like when he came, like you said, I mean, bald, weak,
Yeah.
but when he left, swing was looking good.
Mhm.
He was looking
He
good.
had a work ethic.
He had a
that
work.
was-
He
yeah.
really did. I mean, he outworked everybody on that field, and that's crazy because there are a lot of hardworking kids on that team.
Exactly.
Very
Yeah.
talented team,
Exactly.
and
Well,
he
and-
outworked everybody.
And like we had said in a previous podcast, even when he had leukemia raging through his body, he didn't know it. He was out there doing wind sprints with everybody. He was
Mhm.
doing batting practice, and he didn't want anything
Mhm.
to stop him. And I remember one of the stories that he told us when he talked to Coach Hanks and said, "I don't want to be treated different.
No, yep.
I want you to yell at me if you need to yell at me. I want to be treated like everybody else. I
Mhm.
don't care what's happened in my past."
He was adamant about that.
Yeah.
He was very adamant. I
Yeah.
mean, with the teammates, like, he wanted everybody to treat him like he was there to grind it out with us, and he was.
Yeah.
That's one one night I remember. It must have been 10:30 at night, and I was driving by the practice field, and I saw the lights were on, which was really strange for that time of night. And wouldn't you know it, Ryan out there hitting on a tee.
Oh
Mhm.
my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know
crazy.
how he figured out how to turn the lights on because
Yeah.
to this day I still don't know how to do that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how much of a worker he was. He figured out a way to turn on the lights
Yeah.
Sure,
and go out there and hit.
exactly.
And he had the
Which is-
determination.
Yep.
He'd find the
Yep.
way. It was probably calling Coach at 10
Yep.
o'clock. "Hey, Coach,
Yep.
how do you turn on the lights out here?"
That's something that never crossed my mind, but that
You
was
know?
just a time where he had time to go out there and work,
Mhm.
and that's what he was doing,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Did it ever occur to you, this is you were a senior at the time and Ryan was a freshman, new person coming in halfway through the season? Did that affect anything, or did he just literally come in and fit in with everybody and kind of molded with the team? Or
Oh, I remember the first time Ryan was introduced to the team. Really, we were I think it was we'd come back from winter break and we were practicing a couple weeks early before the rest of the students showed up, and we were at dinner at I think it's the Breckenridge Brewery or one of the breweries there, and Ryan walked in and not knowing really anybody, and it was like he walked in and was it felt like you had known him for
100 years?
100 years.
Yeah.
And it's the craziest thing. It's hard to explain, but right when he walked in, he was the most popular guy in the room somehow. It was crazy. I mean, that's just Ryan's.
The old handshake. "Hi, I'm Ryan."
Yep, absolutely. And he went to every single person in that restaurant.
Including the waiter, the waitress, everybody. Yeah.
Everybody loved him.
Yeah.
The whole place.
Exactly. Okay, now remind me, is that the dinner that you guys had that you passed the ball around and somebody had to say something about themselves? Because do you remember anything about that?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
I don't remember that, no.
Okay, because I remember him saying it was the first day he got there, second day he got there, and he had a team dinner, and they passed the ball around, and he said, I know I'm going to get that ball. I just know it because that's just how it works. So, of course, then he kind of got to break the ice and tell everybody, yes, I have cancer, or I did, and that's why I'm bald, but don't treat me any different. I'm sure it went something like that. So,
Yeah. Grant, there's a story that resonates with me, especially with you and Ryan. In the night that he would not let you hang up the phone
Yeah.
until, because he always, with all of you boys, would always say, I love you. Always. And he wouldn't let you hang up the phone until you broke and said, I love you back. Do you remember that?
Yeah, no, it's actually pretty funny. So Holly talked to me about this yesterday, and then I talked to my mom about it again. And I was telling her that I was doing this, and I said that I was gonna kind of talk about this, and she goes, I actually remember that day. I was like, do you really? She's like, yeah, I remember. Like, you were sitting in the car, and you were trying to make plans on like where you guys were gonna go when you were gonna hang out, because we were hanging out that weekend. And I guess I was sitting in the car, and we were finishing up, wrapping up whatever we were talking about, and Ryan's like, all right, I love you. And I paused and I said, what did you just say? We were like,
typical Ryan.
I mean, we were young. I was 12. It was just like kind of awkward the first time like one of my friends had told me that they loved me. And it was like, I say that to my parents. Like, this is weird. This is the first time I've seen us say this to someone other than my family member. And he would not get off the phone until I said it. And it was, no, it was kind of funny, but I mean, I told him, and then from now on, literally, we all tell each other we love each other. And that's just how it is.
Absolutely. That is just, and that was 12.
Yeah.
That couldn't be the more awkwardest stage ever,
Yeah.
right? And yet there's these guys telling each other that they love them. It's awesome though, because I think I was in the car that I was driving, because obviously the boys didn't have their license then, and it was so impactful because I just remember him saying it over and over. And he's like, dude, I'm not hanging up until you tell me. And I just thought that was super special.
Yeah. No, my mom was pretty funny about it too when I was telling her about it again. She's like, yeah, no, I remember that. Like, you were super weird about it. But then, like, she's
Ryan
like,
just told me he loved me.
Yeah, she's like, it was really cute because like you didn't know what to do.
I love it. Yeah. And then it just broke the ice and everybody, because I think it just came natural for everybody after that, which I thought was really cool.
You guys all had a bond that you put each other first.
Absolutely.
And it was before girlfriends. It was before baseball. It was before everything. I mean, you guys were a family, and you still are. Even though Ryan might not physically be here, you guys are still a family, and it's great to see the way you've brought Ben in, and Ryan's core group of friends from Colorado have matched up with his core group of friends from California,
for sure.
and they've become one big family. And Tyler, there's a lot of people that aren't here today. Why don't you kind of give a shout out to those people? Because, we're missing probably Ryan's, you're all his best friend, but the one he grew up with the most would be Garrett Ball, because Garrett lived here, a lot of the time. And tell a little bit about some of the other players on your Fort team that aren't here.
Yeah, I would say Garrett Ball is a huge impact was a huge impact in Ryan's life. Garrett and Ryan clicked so quick, even though they didn't meet until 8th grade, right?
Yeah, it was Babe Ruth.
I remember we were on the Dodgers together.
Yes, the team that didn't win a game.
We were good.
Oh, I don't remember that. Sorry.
No, the Dodgers, they were good. If your Babe Ruth was good.
Oh,
yeah.
Babe Ruth was good. Okay. There was another team that
was bad.
Yeah.
You guys lost to us. Though.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that.
Garrett Ball him and Ryan clicked so quick, and they just instantly became at the hip. Which Garrett was here. He's obviously in Colorado doing his own thing, and he's gonna be really successful in life. And then Casey,
and Garrett's the reason Ryan went to Colorado Mesa.
100%.
Because Ryan had offers from D1 schools, but he chose to go to the number 1 D2 school so he could be with Garrett.
Yep. Yep. I think that was a big comfort thing for Ryan as well. Getting
Yeah.
there and seeing that Garrett was there and
Yeah.
how much Garrett loved it over in Colorado. It just must have
Well,
made him
and
feel at
plus
home.
Colorado fit right. I mean, Ryan's a hunter and a fisherman, and I mean, there'd be several times when Mom would text him, "Hey, how's school going today?" I don't know. Well, where are you? Yeah,
Yes.
he's fishing. In fact, there's a story we got to get to later about the river.
Oh yeah, that was
we'll
a
get
good
to that
one.
one in a little bit. But anyways, go ahead. So who else do we have that's not here with us?
Casey Muth, another great friend of Ryan's. Very big into hunting, and he absolutely adored Ryan. Ryan and Casey got along so well. It was another big relationship in our friend group. As well as Jace Toming. He's also a board member of Fort.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Ryan were friends at a very young age. Grant actually grew up with Jace, and we all ended up playing baseball together growing up.
That travel team.
Yeah.
Through AG Thunder. And then Julian Ramirez.
J-Rax.
J-Rax, yeah.
He's also a super good friend of all of ours. He's hilarious.
He is funny.
Super funny to be around.
Yeah.
He's always lightening the mood, and
he's probably the only one that didn't play baseball, I think.
I think
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
only one.
Yeah.
He was the football.
He played football.
He played football, and then he also showed animals, and
Yeah.
I think Ryan met him the first time in high school, like as a freshman at the fair. I'll never forget that. So instant click.
Yeah,
He's just a great guy. Yeah, absolutely.
Just the nicest.
Yeah, I agree.
Very genuine, down to earth.
Yeah, for sure. I want to know, because I don't really know this, is how did you guys find out that Ryan had cancer, and what was your reaction? And I'm sure everybody has kind of a different answer to this, because I don't even know where you were at, because you get so locked in and trying to go in survival mode that I don't even know how he told you guys. Because Tyler was away in Oregon, and Grant was at Cal Poly, and you, Nash, were still in high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody was everywhere, and so I just don't know how that went down. Tell me.
It was my freshman year of college. Just got back into my dorm room right after class, and I got a text from my dad. Surprisingly, I don't even know how my dad found out, but he texted me and said, "Hey, you should text Ryan," and then responded back, and he called me immediately and was like, "Hey, have you talked to Ryan lately? He has cancer." And I just sat back on my bed like, "What? Okay. I'll call you back. I'm gonna give him a call." Called him immediately, and he was like, "Hey, super energetic. I couldn't even tell." He was like, "Hey, yeah, I have Ewing sarcoma. I was literally just about to call you," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." But at the time, I had no idea what that meant, no idea what that entailed. I had no context at all. Just within 60 seconds, I
Trying
had
to process it.
So it was like drinking out of a fire hose. So much
Yeah.
information coming at me. I was like, "Oh my gosh." So that was my interaction.
No, I remember. Yeah. Tyler called me first, I think, because Tyler always finds out information before I do.
And you're in the backyard of where we live. So
No, I think he called me. He goes, "Hey, did you hear about Ryan?" I was like, "No, what's up?" He goes, "You need to call him." I was, okay, like, is everything okay? He's like, "Just call him." So then I think I called him, and he told me, and it was kind of just disbelief. I don't know. I mean, I knew nothing about it, but it was just like, I knew it wasn't good. I was like, all right,
Well,
there we
that's
go.
cancer is one of those things that's not on
No,
your radar as a young adult.
no, it wasn't even a thought. It never was a thought. And even
Yeah.
when he had it, it still was like, because we'd go see him, and for the longest time, he was fine. And he was like,
Yeah.
there was nothing. And
He didn't want anybody to have pity on
No.
him. He didn't want anybody to feel sorry for him. He didn't want it to define who he was.
And there was never a moment when he had it either where it was like, I mean, he lost his hair and he gained a little weight, but other than that, he was the same person throughout the entire thing. And you never
Exactly.
knew.
Exactly.
yeah, exactly. And what about you, Nash?
Ryan told me in person the weekend after he found out you guys came back from the hospital, and we just carried on our Monday morning as normal. We were fishing before school. Probably we're going to be a little late, but
They start
we,
Mondays. They start Mondays.
late start Mondays. Yeah, we would go fishing, and
Yeah.
we drove all the way there together, and he got out of the car and he's like, "Hey, I got to tell you something," and I think he just laid it on me just real blunt.
Just a matter of fact.
Yeah, and he was just like, "Hey, I got cancer," and I was like, I think I said something stupid like, "Okay," and I was just like, "All right," and then we didn't honestly, it was kind of weird because we didn't really talk about it for the rest of the time fishing, and then we hit a little bit. Then we went to school and we didn't really get into it till after school that day, and I just got a little bit of details and stuff like that, but it was kind of like a disbelief thing for the whole day. I was like so starstruck. I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I had no reaction. I couldn't even put words together. It was so weird.
And
But
and I really believe that that's what your generation and any of the young adults that we deal with, that's their mindset. It's like, I can't believe that. People think cancer happens to little kids and senior citizens. They don't realize how big the population is in the middle that's affected by cancer,
oh yeah,
and it's so important that we get our mission out there, get our voice out there. You guys get your voice heard because cancer affects so many people. And, it affected all of you guys, you know?
yeah, yeah. It's crazy to see how many people it touched around us, and just to imagine how many stories there are like this across the whole, the world
Yeah.
probably, and just to how many people like us have something like this and have dealt with something like that. It's kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
I need to touch back on one person that we left off. I know there's others, but Ryan's girlfriend Nicole couldn't be here tonight, and she gets a podcast all to herself when she gets up enough courage. But Nicole, she's probably the one that keeps you guys all focused and in line, wouldn't you say?
She's the mom, I'd say. She definitely keeps us in line.
Yeah.
Whenever we get out of hand, she's always there to keep us
Yeah.
in order.
Yep.
Attempt to.
Yeah. Well, and
tries
she's the
to-
only girl. So, yeah, exactly.
She's got her hands full with us.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, that's crazy. One thing that I was just gonna touch on just a second is that Ben was actually the person that when Ryan got diagnosed in Colorado with leukemia, Ben is the one that drove me and Nicole home because Steve and Ryan needed to fly back to UCLA. So Ben was a crucial part of this second spout of cancer. And also Ben flew out when Ryan went into ICU, which I think there was only a few people that actually saw him in ICU, and Ben being one of them. Are you wanting to say anything about that, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a tough time to see my friend battling his butt off like he was. It was something that I'm glad I was there. I'm glad I was there with you guys. I'm glad I was there for Ryan. But yeah, it was tough. It was very hard.
Very hard.
Very hard.
Yeah. Extremely hard to do that. So but I do appreciate it. I appreciate that that you came and you dropped things, and I'm surprised I remember actually because there was a lot of things that were just numb. But yeah. And as far as after everything happened, how do you think that affected your core group of friends? Who wants to tackle that? Someone else?
To be honest, it was this was the first people I got together with after it all went down. After yeah, this was who I went to for all my support, basically. Basically the people in this room and the people that were named earlier. So it was
Your
kinda
family got stronger.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean,
Like enormously, enormously.
for me, after everything happened, uh, I think I haven't been with these guys as long as everyone else has. But after everything happened, I really do feel like I'm a part of this brotherhood. I wish I could come out and see you guys more often. But Ryan touched my life in so many ways, but probably the most important way is all of you guys in this room.
Yeah.
So
Amen to that. Amen to that.
I would have never been here without Ryan.
Right. That's so true.
And there's so many amazing people that I've met and become close to because of Ryan. So
Yeah. He created a bond with a lot of people.
a lot of people.
And there's just that connection that even Holly and I find to this day that, they'll see 17 Strong or they'll see Fort or they'll see something and they're like, I know about that. I know that kid, and they have a special memory, something that triggers in their mind, and it's a happy thought. It's a good place to be. And it was a special time for them.
Absolutely.
We've heard time and time again, the number of stories, even in high school, where kids would be bullied and Ryan would see it going on and he'd run over and put his arm around whoever was being bullied and tell that other person to get lost and, walk that girl or that young man to class, because he was a champion for those that were being picked on. Ryan loved everybody and he hated to see, people less fortunate or special needs being picked on, Tyler, why don't you tell us a little bit about the plans for Fort and if anybody wants to donate to Fort, how they can get a hold of you guys?
Yeah. So Friends of Ryan Teixeira is a 501c3 nonprofit. We've currently donated through the Santa Barbara County Fair, bidding on multiple pigs, and it was awesome. We got to spread out the wealth pretty much across so many different kids. It was awesome to see.
That is awesome.
And our Friends of Ryan Teixeira baseball classic, it super successful. We definitely plan on doing that again next year. We just did that in July, as Nash touched on earlier. And so we definitely plan on doing that every single year moving forward. But plans moving forward is just to keep on Ryan's legacy and anything that we can think of. Basically through board meetings and all of that, we'll just brainstorm and kind of see what is the best route to go.
Yeah, for sure.
What how can we help the community in the best way we can.
And if anybody wants to make a donation to Fort, how do they do that?
Yeah. So we actually have a PayPal set up through our website, fort17.org. PayPal set up through there, and we also take checks through our PO box.
Awesome. Hey, that's awesome. I do want to ask if there's any stories that they wanted to, and maybe a favorite story, a touching story. I just want to give you guys an opportunity to do some type of story. It doesn't matter what it is.
Ben, there's a fishing story I'm thinking about. Were you involved with that one?
I was not there. I've heard the story. I believe, if I remember correctly, Ryan was fishing, which wasn't a shock to anybody. He was out. He was out fishing near the river, and I think there was a guy out there that I believe was homeless, and they had walked away from their fishing gear, and the homeless guy actually stole it. Yeah, he took their rods. He took their tackle box, I believe.
Yep.
And it's everybody's first instinct to go, yell at this guy and get your stuff back. But Ryan, being Ryan, decided that if that guy needed to steal his fishing rod, that he probably needed it more than him. And I don't remember exactly how the discussion between him and the guy went, but I think that was Ryan's kind of take on the whole thing, is that if he felt the need to steal it, he probably needed it more than he did. So,
well, he tracked him down.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. And they talked.
Yep.
And the guy ended up giving everything back.
Yep.
And but Ryan had a little talk with him. Never,
Yeah.
He approached it in a loving manner, the way I understood.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, I'm going to call the cops or anything like that.
No.
And it was like you said, if you really need this, come on, I'll teach you how to fish or whatever.
Exactly, which is insane. I mean, I would have been over there chasing the guy down. Probably, my fishing rods mean a lot to me, but
yeah, exactly.
Yep, Ryan went about it the way Ryan would go about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good one. That's a good story. Nash, is anything PG rated that you can tell us?
That's I'm going through my stories right
That's
now.
man. There's a ton of them.
I know.
Just the one random one that's sticking in my head right now is mm, I think it was his senior year of high school. We we ended up making it to the playoffs that year in baseball, and at this time he wasn't playing anymore. And but he showed up for the playoff game, and we had a crazy game, and we ended up walking it off. And there's all these pictures in our high school baseball coaches in his office. And there's this crazy picture, and like Ryan's watching, like kind of watching us all dogpile, but like sort of pushing people too, and like just that whole memory of like that happening. And he happened to be sitting in the stands actually, and he ends up coming onto the field and like. And
Dogpiling with
one of our board members, Nolan, is like in this picture, is like floating in the air, about to just smash this dog pile.
Yeah.
And it was it was a super cool experience. It was yeah. I don't know why that one sticks out, but there's plenty of others, but they're probably not all that.
Nolan
appropriate.
couldn't be here with us
Right.
tonight, but another good friend of Ryan's as well. But that's not the story I thought you were going to tell us. I thought you were going to talk about the snake.
Oh,
with
the
the
snake
principal.
is such a good story. That one is a good story. Are you sure you don't want to tell that one? Okay.
I'll tell that one's pretty good. We used to go fishing out on this private pond, and we would not go to class and go do it. And one day on our way back, we're driving back, and it's super hot, and there's this big snake on the pavement, and we had our fishing rods in Ryan's car, and he grabs a fishing rod, and we're like trying to trap this thing and put it in a box because our principal was having gopher issues around the school for the grass. So we're like, we'll bring him this snake, and we'll just throw it down the hole. So we capture this thing, we put it in a shoebox, and we punch a bunch of holes in it. And he drives a what kind of car was it?
It's a 71 Chevelle.
So it's not it's not super roomy. It's a sweet ride. So there's nowhere to put this snake other than in my lap. So we have like a 10-minute drive, and I'm just holding a snake in a box in the car, and it doesn't even seem like something weird's going on. Like it's just another day, and we, instead of just going straight to the hole like the gopher holes at school, we decided to take it into the office, past all like the secretaries and stuff, and just go right into the principal's office and just set it on his desk. And he's sitting in there, and he's like, "Well, what's this?" And we're like, "It's a snake." And he like jumps out of his chair, backs way up, and he's like, "You got to be kidding me. That's not a snake." And we're like, "No, seriously, that's why there's holes in the box." So the snake has some air in there. And he's like, "You got to get that thing out of here." And like, it's kind of quite the scene going on. At this point, everybody in the office can hear the principal screaming for Ryan and I to get the snake out of there. So we end up taking the snake outside, and then for some reason, the next few weeks, we keep running into all these snakes. So we start playing pranks on the principal, and Ryan and I would just trap them, and then we just, to be completely honest with you, let them loose in his office. No box. No box. We would leave it in there. We would just let it in, and then we just hang out and just watch it move around. And he would, like, after a few times we would go in there, even if we didn't have a snake, he would get up, and he ended up having a shovel in his closet. Yeah, and he would get the shovel out if he saw one of us walk in, or even in the office, he'd be like, "Where's the snake?" He would just start asking. And we're like, "No, we're just happen to be passing through. There's no snake." It was
awesome.
it was kind of funny.
Yeah. And weren't you late for baseball because of the snake?
We were. We had to text our baseball coach with this what seemed like a lame excuse, but was completely true. We were playing with snakes with the principal, and he was like, "So that's really why you were late?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're just trapping snakes."
We're trapping snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
that's a good one.
Tyler. What's your story?
All right, Ty. Let's hear it.
I have a few.
I'm sure you have more than a few, but maybe only two that are PG.
So many. Okay. The first one that comes to mind is so I think I'm a sophomore. We're at football practice, and I'm on punt team, and Ryan, of course, is the most energetic, hardworking guy on scout team. He's just like always just going full go. And I just vividly remember him, this play goes through, and he basically just absolutely lays me out in this play. I'm trying to block him, and he just absolutely lays me out, almost parallel with the ground.
Oh, no.
And I'm on my back, like, like I'm trying to catch my breath. I got the wind knocked out of me, and I'm looking through my face mask, just looking up at the sky, and I see Ryan's head go right through the face mask, like, hey, dude, you okay? And I'm just like trying to catch my breath, like, oh my gosh, that hurts so bad. It's like, dude, Ty, you okay? Helps me up. Like, no one else does that.
No, exactly. And nobody else gets into your face masks either. Yeah.
I remember he had to have our head coach gave him a pad to run with when he was on scout because he was giving all of our starters concussions.
Oh my God.
He was like, Ryan, calm down. You're on scout. Like, you're hurting our starters. He goes like, what do you mean? Like, I'm playing. You're like, no, don't hit them. Like, stop. So he got a little shoulder pad and he just used that. And I remember Mikey was throwing a slant route across the middle and Ryan threw the pad up and batted the ball down with the pad. our head coach got so mad at him. He's like, what are you doing? He goes, well, you gave it to me. I'm going to use it.
I remember that.
Oh, no.
That was so funny.
Oh, no.
It was like 8 weeks of him with that pad. He hated
And then
it.
he ended up getting it taken away?
No, I think the entire year. Like it was like after we went a couple weeks and he kept hurting him, so that was the solution to him stop hurting everyone.
Oh my gosh.
Because he went so hard in practice.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. All I remember is like when he was at games, he would literally like dance around practically. And even the coaches are like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
And I don't know what he was doing, but he ended up getting the play done. It was just a roundabout way of doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Looked like he had ants in his pants.
Yeah,
out there.
always. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, he thought he was a good 4.4 speed with the.
Oh, no. Yeah, he just made it look like he was a good runner. Yeah.
He had some couple good plays, though. He had that interception against Liberty that sealed the game.
Yeah,
That was
sure.
on the, 5-10 yard line.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really close. I mean, he wouldn't even run the ball back. He just slid
I know.
down the
I'm
ball.
like, you slid with football pads on. Like,
You know?
that was just weird. He's like, yeah, but I'm on defense. I don't run. No, I don't run the ball. That was
Yeah,
great.
he just hit people hard.
Yeah,
Very hard.
exactly. Okay, any stories from you, Grant?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know of any?
No, the pad one was that
Well, that was a good
that's
one.
the one that sticks out in my head the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
other
I like
than-
it.
Yeah.
Well, with that, we're going to wrap up our podcast and thank you all for being here. For those that
Absolutely.
couldn't be here, we're sorry we missed them. We'll pick up the rest of the group at another time. And for our listeners, if you're interested in supporting Friends of Ryan Teixeira, that's Fort. So it's fort17.org. You can donate online or you can mail a check in to P.O. Box 1712, Pismo Beach, California, 93448. Boys, thank you for being here. And with that, we're going to wrap up our podcast. And remember, attitude is everything.
You've been listening to 17 Strong. Victories don't come by accident. To be part of the show, make a donation, or request more information, go to 17strong.org. That's SEVENTEEN strong.org.